Recording has started.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scared Shitless. This
Hey,
is
hey. Might as well change the name now, no?
welcome to the last episode of Scared Shitless. Very true. This is a horror retrospective. The show. You fucked up my intro, Jamie. You fucked it.
What a bastard!
That's because, man, we've rebranded. We should be
Yeah, we've not gotten there yet, though.
Nah, man.
We have
Like, fuck it.
rebranded.
I know we've rebranded, but we've not rebranded.
Will this not be the last video in the upload schedule?
This is the last video we're uploading as Scared Shitless. Our next video will be with our rebranded name. Are we announcing a rebranded name in this episode, or we hold?
Well, we already dropped it on Monday, so the other day, sorry, so we technically don't need to do it.
What are you talking about? We dropped it. We've not announced the name to anyone.
I thought that's what you've done. I thought that's what your video was on New Year's Day. No?
No. But anyway, in this episode of A Horror Retrospective, we are discussing The Thing, the 2011 cosmic horror prequel to The Thing. So, The Thing is the story of a Norwegian research team in Antarctica that discovers an alien frozen in the ice. Once the alien is free, the team must fight for survival and avoid being assimilated by the Thing. A very similar story to The Thing. So the Thing is written by Eric Heiserer, and the story, as in the original short story, Who Goes There, was by John W. Campbell Jr. And it was directed by, you know how I normally, often mispronounce people's names? Well, this guy's just testing me here. This guy is testing me, so I'm going to do my best here, right? It is, I believe it's a Dutch name, so I'm going to try. Matthias van Heiningen Jr.
Nice.
That may not even be close.
Done.
It may not even be close.
Good try.
So, it stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Joel Edgerton, Ulrich Thompson, Eric Christian Olsen, and Jorgen Langhill. Again, whose name I may have destroyed.
There's one for it.
So, Ali, what did you think of this?
Yes, right. I'll try to go into this with a fresh look on it, which obviously what it was. It was looked from a different point of view, and I did enjoy it. Effects-wise, I thought it was fantastic. I just feel not a lot of the actors sort of blended together. At least that was my opinion. Some of them just felt very dry to me. If that makes sense. I know it is a fresh take on the franchise. I completely understand that. I just didn't feel that they all blended with each other as what we got with the original film.
Okay, Jamie, what's your thoughts? Do you agree with Ali?
Not really. I actually think I enjoyed this film more than I enjoyed the first one.
Oh, okay. We have some interesting shit going on here. Okay,
I think it was more because I knew nothing about the Thing going in, and I didn't know what the preface was, and I spent most of the movie going like, "What the fuck's going on here?" But now, in the second one, I knew what was going on. Pretty much got to follow the same formula, so I think I just was able to sit back and enjoy the movie more.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll get into a more in-depth conversation about it all as we go. But let's get the kills out the way. We always discuss the kills. I think in The Thing and this one, also The Thing, I think the kills aren't the most important thing in the movie. So let's talk about them, get them done, and then we'll move on to the stuff that I think maybe this film has going for it, maybe what it's got against it, stuff like that. I think we'll have a more in-depth conversation about that stuff. So 12 people die in this film. A lot of them we don't actually see. A lot of it's off screen because we see that they are in fact the Thing, which of course means they've already been killed by the Thing. So it's hard to kind of count them in order. So I'm just going to, I've made an order here. Whether it's right or not is definitely debatable, but don't debate it because I'm not going to read it. If you, I'm not going to pay attention. This is how we're doing it. We're moving past it. So okay, so the first one, first kill in the movie, I've got dude impaled through the back and dragged under the building by a tentacle. They then burn the Thing after that. Two guys who die in the helicopter crash. One of them is actually the Thing, but I need to count that guy somewhere. So he's going there, So we have Juliet, the other female in the film, who bends over back and turns and shows she's a Thing, and she impales Carl, and then is burned with a flamethrower. Peter is then shot in the head in a callback to the previous movie where Mac shot a dude in the head. Edvard is a Thing.
It wasn't a Thing. The guy in the last movie wasn't even a Thing.
He was not. Neither is Peter in this film. No. just the guy gets shot. Edvard is a Thing. His arm comes off. And I have here, and this is literally what I wrote down, face fucks Jonas. That happens. Edvard then merges head to head with Adam. The Doctor is killed by the Thing. Helferson is a Thing. He goes away. He dies later. And Carter finally is burned in the snowmobile for not having his earring. Okay, so that's all the kills that I counted. The only survivor was Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yes. I just want to ask a question about Antarctic research facilities. Do they all just happen to have big fuck-off flamethrowers as part of the standard gear that they take with them?
Apparently so.
If anyone's an Arctic sort of explorer or knows people in research, let me know if they take big fuck-off flamethrowers with them for no reason.
It's a way to keep themselves warm, obviously.
I get that they might have to melt ice, but the big sort of backpack flamethrower seems like overkill to me. But anyway, sorry. I don't know why I'm focusing on that so much.
That's okay. It was,
it's all good.
It was worth questioning. These are the kind of things we need the answers to, So, but Jamie, of all the kills, which was your favorite?
I can't remember who it was, but it was when the Thing sort of came out of her chest. Did it come out of her chest or her stomach?
Julia, it was her, and she bent over and that slash chest opened up.
That one was
whatever,
crazy. And I was the sound effects they were using. I was is it like a velociraptor mixed with a pig mixed with a guy going?
That's one way to look at it.
I have no idea what. I was and I'm pretty sure I heard a coyote at one point. It was sound
I
effects.
just love how our head is just dangling, though. Our head is just dangling and not fully interacting, and then all of a sudden our head turns, and then it's oh fuck.
But the sound effects aside, I thought that was amazing.
Okay, Ali, what was your favorite? And are you drinking Buckfast?
No, man. Big ale. That's all. I'm drinking Buckfast. Easy. I've got more class than that. Come on, you know me better. My favorite kills, I want to say, for the love of me, I can't remember the chap's name, but it's when she is running through the corridor, stomach and chest bursting out, and she just takes what I'm assuming is some sort of claw.
So she impales Carl. I believe that's the...
and thank you, impales Carl. I love that, but I also like, and this was the part of the film that did freak me out. Not saying the chest and stomach thing didn't fucking freak me out, because it did a little bit. Was the body merge was really, really cool effect. But all that going together, I was like, oh, that is some way to die. Because they essentially turn the way that they've done it in this film, they've sort of created their own spider, whereas in the first film, it was, if I remember correctly, it was the head that became the spider.
Yeah, the head grew like legs and scuttled
Yes,
off.
yes.
Yeah.
Whereas this time they changed it up to merge two humans together
Edward
overall.
kind of merges with Adam.
Yeah.
I would say that's my personal favorite in it, because it's the most unique, and
Yes.
we actually see that creature in the first one. You know, they find it and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Which actually, soon as we've got our favorite kills out of the way, actually brings me on to one of the things.
You say in the first one, but this predated it, right? So that being came before the little spider head thing. Yeah.
No. What I mean is that. So I was going to say one of the things that's done very well is because it's a prequel, and because we saw the base, and you know the characters went and explored this base in the original film. I won't call it the first one. I'll call it the original for for trying to make it more understandable. So they had to work within these constraints. You know, they had to be like, right, this is how they found this base. So we need to get the base from a working base into the order of how they found it. You know, the facility, the research facility, and it done an incredible job with continuity. Like, I think this film fucking nailed it. So that creature, the two-headed thing, when it merges with Adam, they actually found that at this base, burned up, and they were like, "What the fuck is that?"
That's right, they do. I remember now.
Yeah.
I fully remember that now.
So, you know, that thing
yeah.
that is made, they actually found that in the previous movie. You know, they find the axe in the wall that Joel Edgerton's character axes like the arm thing.
So it's like little things here and there. Yeah.
Literally everything that happens in this film, you can watch the original from the 80s and find a reference to it in that film, which I think is so well done. It's so much detail to do that.
I'm going to watch them back to back in that order now. Little things
that I've noticed were the axe in the wall, the merged thing / Adam head thing, the frozen dude with his wrist slit at the end, who I did not count in the kills.
It's okay. There's that many kills. Don't worry about it.
It's like, fuck, I didn't count him. But, you know, he slits his wrists, and you know he's found frozen. They find his body in the original. There's all the burnt bodies. There's the facility being burnt to shit. There's the dog that, of course, runs away at the end of this film and opens the original film. You know, and you know, you're like, why the fuck are they shooting at that dog? This film is why.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the dude was the dude was fucking petting a dog, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is the giant block of ice that has been exploded from in the hole in the roof, and of course in this one we see that the thing was in the ice and exploded through the fucking roof. So and that's just the stuff I noticed. I'm sure there are countless things in it that I didn't notice that continuity-wise, I think are incredible. So none of you guys noticed this?
I'm gonna watch it back now
Mine is
in
first.
that order.
It's the first time I'd
Uh,
seen the film. You said this is one of your favorite films. So how many times had you seen
The
the thing?
the original, the original is one of my favorite films, and like watching this one, the first time I watched this, I knew it was a prequel, and I watched it, and I'd already seen the original countless times, and I saw this in the cinema. So when I was in the cinema, I was like, "Oh, nice!" Just it's just nice wee things that I noticed. But it's because I love the original so much. So I mean, you're totally right. I very much look at it through different eyes. Than someone who hasn't seen either before, and you'd only seen the original once a couple of weeks ago, so you weren't exactly super attached to it. But
I wasn't even
Ali,
looking out for it because I assumed they would have just made their movie and been done with it. Like I didn't even think they'd bother.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
I'm
definitely bothered.
maybe I'm just so used to watching lazy filmmaking.
That's entirely possible. And I've got to say, this absolutely was not lazy. It was very well done. And Ali, if you're going to rewatch them, definitely watch them with an eye out for that. I think it's well worth it.
I will do. I will do.
It does add something to it. It really does. Watching it when you can really connect both films together that well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have Lars and the helicopter pilot, two characters. I mean, the helicopter pilot's only in this one very briefly, but they fly away after the dog shooting it, and the film opens with them coming after the dog.
Yeah.
And Lars shoots the guy, and then Lars gets shot through the face. We didn't know his name was Lars in the last movie. We only found out his name and stuff in this film. Who I absolutely loved his character. He was played by Jørgen Langhel. He was the only character in the movie that didn't speak any English. And I really liked him. I genuinely did really like him. So let's talk about the cast. Jamie, what did you think about the cast and the characters?
I liked him. I liked him a lot. I really disliked the British guy.
Right, yeah.
Like he was an absolute twat. Like what self-respecting scientist decides to just fuck it, let's not in laboratory conditions tamper with this once in a lifetime specimen. Let's just do that, and then be a dick to the woman who's questioning the scientific methods, which she totally should do.
She 100%
and also
should do.
She was a great final girl, because she was the final girl of this movie, right? Or can you call it a final girl if she's not being chased down?
She
by
was.
A killer?
This is also her on our show. I think you still can. I think you can. But it's also Mary Elizabeth Winstead's second appearance, because she was also the star of Final Destination 3, which we have covered on the podcast. Go check it out.
And she was the only good thing about Final Destination. One of the Final Destination 3 was alright. I think she was
the best actress, but the kills in Final Destination 3 were the real standout. She had the standout performance, but like the sunbed deaths in that film.
Oh yeah, the sunbed deaths. Yeah. She was the best actress. The rest of them were shit. But and I was got to address something that Ali said at the start, like the cast not gelling. I thought, when they got the ukulele out and the Norwegian guys started doing their song, I thought that was absolutely amazing. They felt like a family,
Absolutely agree with you, Jamie. I was going to actually bring that up in this section as well, because 100%. I don't think the performances were as good as some of the performances in the original. I think some of the performances in the original were absolutely outstanding. However, I felt the cast gelled really well in this one, and I felt, especially in that party scene, like they're playing the ukulele, they're dancing, they're singing,
they're getting drunk.
I just really liked them. As a group, I really liked them. Now, obviously, I agree. The English guy I didn't like. The doctor I didn't like. They were kind of dickish, and they were dickish, I think, intentionally to have villainous characters. But as a group, what little we got off them as a group, I thought I really enjoyed them as a group. I really liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think she's a great actress in general. If she's in something, I'd watch it. Like I said, I really liked the character of Lars. What I liked is one of the interactions I liked with him was he was just no bullshit. You know, they said he doesn't speak English, but he'll work like a horse. They said that about him at one point.
Yeah.
And she's you know, they're working out who's a thing or not, and she trusts him. You know, he's already shown her the grenades and whatnot, and she turns to one of the other guys and she's like, "Go out and get the Americans," and he's like, "Oh, but this or that," and Lars says to him in Norwegian, "What's she saying?" And he's like, "She wants us to go and get the Americans." He's like, "Right, let's fucking go then." Do it. And the guy, all right. You know, Lars is like, "This is get done." You know, he's straight at it. You know, and I really like that. It was just a nice wee character beat. It's like the guy just trusts her, can't understand her, but totally gets her, and he's like, "I'm willing to follow her." Whereas some of the others were like, "It's the fucking 80s. I'm not doing what this woman tells me."
Must have been her eyes.
So Ali, you didn't think the characters gelled well, but what did you think about their? Well, what did you think of Mary Elizabeth Winstead? What did you think of Lars?
Oh no,
And,
I totally liked her in this film. As we say, this is the second go around of me seeing her in a film. So no, I enjoyed her. She played the part really well, and like I say, with me not thinking, well, saying that they all seemed very dry. That's just my opinion when I'm watching it for the first time. When I rewatch it, I might have a different opinion when I blend both films all together.
okay, well, so you did mention Ali on your opening that one of the things you really liked was the effects in this film.
Yes,
Now,
I really. It is a shame. Unfortunately, this is obviously when these filmmakers were starting to use CGI. Trying to do these effects back in the day in the 80s, I know it would have been a lot harder, especially trying to merge the two humans together. But no, the effects worked out really well with this film, I felt.
well, what we saw in this is some of the effects were practical, more of them were CGI, and often they would do CGI over practical effects, much like they done in one of the Final Destination films that we discussed. You know, and I think personally, I think the practical effects that they done looked fantastic. Like the autopsy scene where they like cut open the thing and you see its insides and stuff. That was all practical and it looked disgusting.
Oh yeah, that
was
fucking
really
gruesome.
cool. I like that.
The scene where Juliet comes like backwards and apart and the thing like comes out her stomach / chest. That was practical, but they CGI'd over it. So it was kind of a weird combination of both practical and CGI.
But that was a lovely suit for the girl to wear.
Just CGI, like the bit on the helicopter where the thing kind of becomes all these tentacles. That was only CGI, and I think that looked bad. So the thing at the end where it's chasing her in the ship, that was only CGI, and I think it looked bad. So I think the stuff that they done practically looked fantastic. I think the stuff that was a combination looked pretty good, and I think the stuff that was only CGI doesn't hold up. But that's my opinion. Jamie, what's your thoughts on the practical and CGI kind of combination?
It was fine. I didn't really notice, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't really bother me. You know, I've just accepted that going forward, it's all got to be CGI, so you know it's fine.
Fair enough.
That's what we're gonna get. So.
Yes, right.
What else did you think about it? I mean, you said you enjoyed it.
One more thing though. I think the Pyrotechnics team they had on this film were fucking awesome.
Let's talk about that right after Ali gives us his final thoughts, because I definitely want to talk about that as well, Jamie. 100%.
Excellent.
On my final thought, I look forward
just on the
to
CGI, not your final thought on the movie as a whole.
Yeah, you're not allowed to join. You're not allowed to join in the rest. You have to sit there quietly.
I actually feel like Jerry Springer there. My final thought. I enjoyed them. I really enjoyed the effects. I do agree with you with the ending part of the alien in the ship. It did look kind of crap. I was quite surprised that there was only one at the end as well. You think you'd have thought there might have been more with the size of the ship. You know, I mean, I could be wrong. There could have been other things in the ship that we just didn't see, unless they killed them all. Because that's one thing I've never really understood about this franchise overall. Is it just one thing or / alien, or is it multiple?
I think we've got the answer to that, because they found the husk of that thing that was definitely a thing. They burnt it to death, but yet there was still more things, right?
They found the husk of that one, but it woke up. But what they have said is, they showed us in the original film that every single cell of this creature can operate on its own. So you could kill it, but if a cell survives, that could splinter off and be a living organism all on its own.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So and so maybe there was one thing, they burned it, but a toenail survived, and they're all fucked because of it.
That's why they're all getting on space. That's why they're all getting on spaceships to go to different planets, because if they can reproduce that easily, lose a toenail and another thing turns up, their planet must be pretty overpopulated.
That's exactly right, Jamie. You should write another prequel with the things planet overpopulating, and them being like, "We need to get out of here, guys."
Oh, right, all of you fuck off.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will do a prequel where you see it from the thing's point of view.
I hope not. I
hope not.
That would be horrendous.
I know. I'm just throwing it out there.
If we're doing a pitch battle and you pitch that, I guarantee you're not winning.
I don't want to pitch that. Anyway, I was just throwing it out for fun. That's all.
So but the incredible pyrotechnics work that they done here. So Jamie, you mentioned that. Let's hear your thoughts on that.
It was awesome. There was loads of fire. There was loads of fire. There was explosions, and I think the standout of the whole thing was when the thing went it got flamethrowered, and then it went running, and everything else around it was on fire, and then it got the guy came up with it again with the flamethrower. That was awesome, and there was somebody in that. There was definitely somebody in that fucking suit on fire. It was brilliant.
Yes. So I watched the special features for this movie because I was amazed by the pyrotechnic work, and I was like, there has to be something on these special features. I have the Blu-ray. Turns out there was an entire featurette all about the firework. So they wanted you to be able to see the actors using the flamethrowers. So in order to do that, they sent all the actors on a flamethrower course, like an intensive, I think, 2-week learning to use a flamethrower like a badass course.
Nice.
So
is that the same course that Rammstein went on?
Possibly, but they were actually setting people on fire with flamethrowers. They're actually firing these flamethrowers, and I think the fact that they've got the actors using it is super cool. So
Mm.
they're using these flamethrowers. They also then designed a new piece of equipment that they called an air curtain, and that meant essentially how it works is it's a line that they place on the floor and it shoots air up to the ceiling. So directly from the floor to the ceiling, and it meant they could set this wall here on fire,
And it would
have the air curtain there, and then have the actor stand super close to the fire without getting burned.
Wow.
And it meant they were able to actually get actors as close to fire as humanly possible, while being reasonably safe, which had actually never been done in a movie before up until this point.
Nice.
I knew none of this, but the only thing I knew was the fire was amazing. So clearly
it was all real. It was all real. And on top of that, a new gel had been developed, which allowed them to set bare skin on fire for over 10 seconds. Now, this had, again, never been done before. They would just rub this gel on people, bare skin, and they could literally set them on fire, which was super cool because before that, in order to set an actor on fire, they had to be, fully padded, skin completely covered. They could never have any exposed flesh. So they done so much fire stuff with this, and it was fucking awesome. It paid off 100%. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, Jamie, good job bringing it up because I was gonna, I was going to talk about it whether you wanted to hear me talk about it or not. Because I genuinely think the firework in this film is one of the biggest strengths of this film, by a long shot. I think.
And you know me, I like my guns, explosions, and I guess fire as an extension of explosions.
Roll on some Michael Bay films, then, Jamie.
As for them genuinely setting people on fire, they genuinely did. They set a lot of stunt people in prosthetics on fire. So Juliet, I keep going back to her, but it's one of the coolest sequences in the film. She comes apart and becomes a thing. She impales what's his name, and then they genuinely set that stunt woman in the suit on fire, and she runs about on fire until she genuinely falls over. Apparently, she was supposed to run into a room and fall over, but she ran into the room, bashed into the wall, and fell over. And that made it into the movie because they weren't going to do it again. But,
it's not funny, but it is funny at the same time.
It is funny.
Oh no, it's 100%.
And I mean, the stunt woman was okay, so it's it's fine. But okay, so I suppose the last thing I want to talk about is, and you may not agree with me here. I know Jamie doesn't, but is Ali? Why do you think? Well, first off, actually, let's kind of skip ahead. We normally give stabs at the end. Normally we give her summary, we give stabs, and then we do whatever. But this time, how about we give her summary, we say how many stabs you would give this movie, and then I would briefly like to discuss why, despite all the good things in this movie, I think the original is much better than it. And Jamie, you're free to disagree. You're free to argue if you wish. That's okay. But let's, Jamie, seeing as you do disagree, why don't you give a summary first and how many stabs first?
I thought this was a really good movie. It's basically the same premise, but they managed to come at it in a fresh, unique way. It didn't feel the same as the original. The fire was amazing, and what's that actress's name again? She's
Mary
great.
Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, I'd like to see her in
try saying that 10 times fast.
Maybe later. I'd like to see her in more stuff. I don't know. And since I knew what to expect going in, I think I enjoyed it more. So maybe I need to go back and give the original another watch to tie it together with all these things we've discussed. But I think 4 stabs for me.
Okay, Ali. Summary and
Overall,
stabs.
overall, even though I gave my opinion at the start of the video, I still enjoyed it, and I look forward to blending both films together the way we've discussed. And overall, I'm going to agree with Jamie and give it 4. However, I do prefer the original. So that's just, and I would give the original 4.5. So
But-
I think I'm being quite fair.
But did you give the original 4.5? Because I can't
I
remember.
think
what
I did.
I can't remember
did.
what. I think I gave the original. Was it 3.5 or did I give it 4? I can't remember.
I can't remember. So I would say, it's good. I'd say the strong points of this film are it is so amazing at sticking to continuity, like better than I can't think of another film that sticks to continuity this well. Like genuinely can't. So I can't give it enough praise for that. I think that's fantastic. I think when you're watching them together, it makes for an amazing viewing experience because of that. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think the firework is some of the best I've seen, if not the best I've seen in any movie, period. Fucking incredible. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead is great. I think the group as a whole are likable. And I think while I'm not the biggest fan of all the CGI, I think what they do practically looks good. What they do CGI, some of it doesn't look good. At one point, I very much thought the thing looked like a vagina with teeth, but yeah, it is what it
Glad
is.
you said it.
But
Isn't there like
I-
a B movie with that as the premise? It's like a horror movie. I can't remember what it's called.
there's a movie called Teeth.
Is that?
which
Yeah,
is-
we've not touched that yet.
but I would give it 3.5 stabs. I gave the original 5. I think the original
That's right, you
is
did. Yep.
one of the best horror films, one of the best films, period. But I give this 3.5, which is still, I still think it's a very good film, and I think everyone should watch it.
I think
but right,
also.
now to
Can I say one more thing? I think one
Yeah, of
thing
course.
is the. Remember, I was talking about the camera work in the other one. This one was
Yeah.
shot. This one was shot how I like movies to be shot. I think that's why I
More
enjoyed
modern.
this film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the more
definitely
modern
more
take
modern
of-
camera work, 100%.
So I think
and
that
I
might
totally
be
get
for
that.
me. Yeah. So I just remembered that. I was meant to say that.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That makes perfect sense as well. But the reason I personally think the original is so much better than this one isn't the bad CGI. It is the fact that the Thing makes decisions in this film time and time again that don't make sense. In the original film, the Thing never revealed itself until it absolutely had to. Time and time again, it never revealed itself until it 100% had to. In this film, it reveals itself time and time again because it looks cool.
But
Like
that fits. But
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, I get where you're going with that. Yeah.
A good example of this is on the helicopter, right? So you think the one guy who's maybe sick may be the Thing. Turns out it's the guy across from him. But Mary Elizabeth Winstead's, I think one of them might be the Thing, I need to stop it. So she goes and calls the helicopter back. If this scene were to happen in the original film, the helicopter would come back, it would land, and the Thing would wait and try and get another chance to get out of there. It wouldn't reveal itself unnecessarily, especially when it's not going to pay off. In this film, the helicopter's coming back. The guy says, it's okay. The guy who's the Thing, it's okay, don't worry about it. He then stands up and sprouts all these tentacles out of his chest, and the helicopter crashes, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't make any sense.
So it was kind of like they went out of their way to show off. Then is what.
I don't
is
know
what
if
I'm
they've
getting.
done it to show off. I'm just saying the decisions the Thing make in this film actually don't make sense, whereas in the previous one
Okay.
they do.
That
And
that
then
holds up. That holds up though, right? The thing's been in stasis for 100,000 years. It's just woke up. It makes mistakes, and then
I'm
in the
not so
next
Does
sure.
it
film, which
though?
happens right after it, it's learned. It's woken up a bit, so it makes better decisions in the next film.
I mean, you could certainly use that as a justification for it. You could, but also the characters don't make decisions that make sense. In the previous film, the characters were smart. Like Mac reasoned, I know I'm not the Thing, and I know you're not all the Thing. Because if all of yous were, you would just kill me. So at least some of you are human. He was making sense, He came up with a test, he was making decisions, and all the characters made decisions that made sense, right? They occasionally they made mistakes, but they weren't making stupid decisions. In this film, it's like you say about the English boy, it's the other guys are like, no, we've got an alien on the loose, but we're not bringing any help in. We are not contacting outside help.
Why they're smarter in the second film? Because wasn't it a whole team of Americans? So it's an American-made film. You want to make the Americans look nice and smart, and all the foreigners look like dumb shits.
Well, it was clearly at least the guy directing this one had the Dutch name. So, but what I will say is the reason I think the original was better is it was smart people making smart decisions in a bad situation, and even the creature was making smart decisions. No one was just unnecessarily stupid. In this one, it was a bunch of dumbasses that apparently have a PhD. It's no. I don't buy that shit for a second. And I genuinely felt it took me out. And the fact that the Thing also kept making stupid decisions, I was like, everyone in this movie makes bad decisions constantly, except Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She didn't. She was the only one with bloody any smarts about her. But everybody else, dumbass. So that is. I really like this film, but that's why I believe it's not as good as the original. But I believe at the end of the day, the original's smart people, and this one is dumbasses. that's it. It's so. I hope my explanation makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Jamie, do you dispute the dumbasses?
No, just
you want to? What are you like, oh.
I'll say let the people in the comments have their say. How about that?
Yes, so please in the comments let us know how many stars you would give this, and which one do you prefer, this one or the original. Now we have gone a bit over what we normally do, so we're going to call it there, but we are going to leave you with letting you know next week we are no longer Scare Shitless, as we've already briefly said at the start. We're going to cover a wider variety of movies. We're going to kind of rebrand, but it's still going to be us. We're still going to be doing the same content. We're going to be doing retrospectives. We're going to do pitch battles, character explorations, everything we already do. We're going to continue to do, but with a wider variety of movies. We are currently in the process of discussing what those movies are. But if there are any movies you would like to see us cover, drop them in the comments below, and we will probably get round to them. So
this is where me and Ryan will have major arguments going forward when it hits these certain films. So everybody, please beware. And
So
all good banter, good banter, of course.
If you want more content from Jamie and Ali, the links to their channels will be in the description below. In the meantime, click thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, click that notification bell, and for the last time, because the sign-off will be changing as well, we will be back. Actually, we won't. Scared Shitless won't be back for one last scare. That's us done scaring, guys.
A horror retrospective. A horror retrospective will be back for one last scare.
That is true. That is true. And with that, bye.
See you.